Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rohit, your host for today's session, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to Shared Future 5.0, our signature virtual panel series where we unpack the boldest, most pressing questions shaping the future of work. The topic we have this time is Workforce 2.0, unpacking the power struggle between people and AI. Standing at a turning point in history where algorithms sit alongside employees, machines evaluate human performance, and the line between human intuition and artificial intelligence is constantly being redrawn. Thus, we must ask ourselves, is this a moment of empowerment or one of innovation? Are we building a future where people and AI collaborate or compete? Today's discussion brings together some of the sharpest minds in HR and technologies, visionaries who aren't just observing the change but leading it. We'll explore how AI transforming roles, redefining skills, and reshaping what it means to lead and thrive in a world of intelligent systems. Let's meet the leaders who'll shape today's conversations. First up is Moiz Barodawala, Assistant Director HR and Site HR Leader at Synechron. Moiz has turned big ideas about automation and reskilling into real action, leading global programs at IBM and now shaping Synechron's people strategy across locations. He uses design thinking to make sure technology always stays focused on people. Moiz, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Rohit. It's a pleasure to be a part of this August group.
Thank you. Next, we have Prem Kumar, Head of HR APAC at Omnissa. From 2 decades at Cisco and VMware to leading Omnissa's Asia-wide people agenda, Prem has lived M&A integrations, cross-border redeployments, and the fine line between data speed and human judgment. Prem, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Look forward to the conversation, Rohit.
Thank you. Our third voice is Vivek Purekar, Senior HR Leader at Clearwater Analytics. Vivek has modernized HR in tightly regulated financial services environments, blending AI screening, performance analytics, and culture change while keeping trust front and center. Vivek, we are delighted to have you as well.
Hey, thank you, Rohit. This is Vivek here. Hello, everyone. I look forward for these discussions. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivek. Rounding out the panel, we have Ashish Daholkar, Senior HR at Druva. Across 20 years in global tech and services firms, Ashish has rolled out AI-powered talent matching, large-scale upskilling, and people analytics program that turn data into better day-to-day work. Ashish, we are eager for your insights. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Rohit. Looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you. And guiding this discussion, our moderator Vikas Agrawal, Chief Operating Officer at Sharedpro. Vikas drives Sharedpro talent sharing model that helps companies redeploy staff instead of laying them off. He knows how to make workforce flexibility a win-win for business and people. Vikas, the floor is all yours
Thank,
now.
thank you, Rohit. Thank you for introducing the panel with
Thank
us.
you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It was a wonderful discussion we had offline just before the session, and I would be very obliged to have you guys with us. And let's not waste some time and let's quickly started with the questions. So, as Rohit mentioned, the topic which we have today is unpacking the power struggle between people in AI. And I won't be having a better question for Mohiz to this. So, Moiz, as an industry expert, you already guide professionals and students on advantages of AI. Could you share some insights on the emerging future career options for both programming and non-programming background candidates?
Sure, interesting question, Vikas. So, honestly, industry academia relationship building is very close to my heart, and every conversation with our next generation is a learning opportunity for me as well. What I usually advise them is to focus on their communication skills, their basic maths and statistics, as well as computer science fundamentals. That is the core part wherein they has to be very strong in order to excel in their careers. If you look at some of the career options that students from a programming background would have are data scientist, data analyst, machine learning engineer, AI engineer, or a robotics engineer. These are some of the emerging roles that we can see in AI these days. However, if somebody is not from technical or programming background, there is no need to worry because we do have a lot of emerging roles like AI product manager, AI ethics specialist, or AI pre-sales or sales or marketing professional, wherein they can still be a part of the AI ball game. So, in a nutshell, people who will embrace AI has nothing to worry for the future.
Thank you, Moiz, for your wonderful reply. There's one thing I wanted to add over here. There was a conversation I was having with one of the project managers earlier last month, and he had a 10-year-old boy. So he was very surprised. They were just comparing some data, and he told me that Vikas won't believe my 10-year-old son is actually using AI to compare uh, things which we at our times we never had any product or any things like this. So he was very surprised that how did his child know about it, and largely it's how we grow. And it's very important and how do we utilize AI and how we teach other people as well, our subordinates, our child to use this AI. And parallelly, coming upon this, like I remember the Infosys using Lex on how they build a AI training platform internally to train everyone, even though it's a blue collar job or a normal tech employee, non-tech employee, but they had some platform to guide their staff accordingly. Coming to my next question, Prem, to you. You guided a lot of mergers and acquisitions at your organizations. And how do you see this AI-enabled pulse surveys is helpful to keep your employees intact while the transition is going on?
Yeah, that's a great question. Uh, I think mergers, acquisitions, spin-offs are not going to go away. In fact, if you ask me, it's only going to increase in the future, right? More and more consolidation will happen. Companies will eat away smaller ones. Some of them will expand. So what I've seen, and I really feel today, because I wish I had more AI tools at that time when I was back at Cisco, because I had done quite a few, helped Cisco through many transitions on acquisitions at that time. And most interestingly, Cisco was acquiring companies. This is like 10 years back, 15 years back. And then I moved on into VMware, where we did a little bit of acquisitions as well. Then there was a time when Broadcom acquired VMware. So, the whole thing will flip. I suddenly, for Prem and for the team, that we were acquiring so many companies, we were getting acquired. And it's a totally a different ball game mindset and, acceptance of the reality, where you had a lot of control in the past to being told what to do and how to manage things. And then lastly, from Broadcom, I had a spin-off to Omnissa, and that's how I landed with Omnissa. So you see the journey today. I mean, mine is a classic example: acquisition to integration into a large spin-off. So this is going to hit everybody in no time. So one of the things I feel AI could have helped me better and will help in the future or currently is instant decision making. I mean, earlier, you talked about pulse surveys and things like that. It reminded me of Gallup surveys many years ago. It took 2 months to prepare, 1 month to administer, and then 1 month to get the response. And then there was a separate one for Q12 leadership response. Altogether, it's a 6 months course. In 6 months, the companies are dead, or they're bought by somebody else, or it's moved on into something else, right? So speed, essence, criticality in decision making, I think AI is going to play a big role. And I know most of us have seen the positive side of AI, and there are also some challenges. So to me, while we started the conversation about are people's jobs going to go away by AI completely, I don't think so yet, right? But it's going to help but if you do not skill and upskill and reskill, yes, it can eat away some of the jobs. So back to your question on surveys, it definitely helps, and a couple of ways it can help is we probably have few weeks time to understand the pulse of the organization when you're acquiring or having a spin-off of companies. And at that point in time, everybody is worried about what? Uncertainty, my job, do I have something ahead of me? I mean, this is fundamentally, who cares about the company and other things? It's about me at that point in time. So can leadership team use AI with the emotional, inputs that the company is getting at that point in time, and come back to the employees on a very quick manner. And that could be one-on-one conversations, but this will throw up which teams need personal touch, which teams might need a different way of addressing them, and who needs what kind of information, because they are all scattered across the place. So my belief is that AI will really help us categorize some of the information available, summarize it, and help us to move in the right direction. And this will help employee morale, trust in the company, I would imagine engagement and productivity, and eventually retention that we are all looking forward to. Because why are you acquiring a company in the tech side? Is for the people. So
Correct.
this would be I really wish I had more AI tools at that point in time, but I'm happy in the going forward. I will learn, and I will also continue to contribute towards this topic going forward.
Thank you, Prem, for your answer. And it's very true that how we mix tech and human connections involved to make the real difference. As I remember or recall, at Cisco, maybe probably used to have this regular checks as well, that how the team is feeling while the M&As are going on. The managers used to have a regular touch with the employees. So anything brief you would like to tell Prem on that?
Okay, that's a great point you brought up. I don't know where you got that, Vikas, but so that was called check-ins. And we used to do that. I mean, the guidance from the company was weekly check-ins. So if people have heard about Marcus Buckingham, it was based on his principles that you work on your potential and positives, but ensure that you connect with your teams on a regular basis. And why? Because we don't want single stars in teams. We want everybody to be a star to make the team a star. So we are looking at not individual star, but teams which are stars. So we want every team to be a best team. They call it as best teams actually. And there are some 3-4 ingredients that actually goes in when you do an analysis or research, why some team is best and why some are not. So I'm not getting into that. But fundamentally, check-ins have been playing a big role. Now, it all depends on the people, Vikas. A company can only provide the platform, infrastructure, and provide the guidance why this is good for the organization. And it's up to the leadership team to showcase. I mean, you got to walk the talk as a leader. If you believe that this is good and this is why you implement it, go ahead and showcase it. You do it yourself first. Get your teams to do it and come back and showcase what is the value coming out of that exercise. Because we don't want people to add on another job or a line of activity on a weekly basis, right? Because everybody's busy. So if there is value, people will follow. So my fundamentals is that in some pockets, it worked very well. In some pockets, people didn't see the value. But it ran for a long period of time. I personally felt it was very valuable to get the pulse. And there are only 3 or 4 questions. It's very simple. It's just 5 minutes. And through that question answers, you will get to know how your team's pulse is, who is under stress, who needs help, and what can the leader do. So to me, it was a good exercise.
Well said, Prem. It's very important. Even the employees should understand that why this survey is even important. Why the company is looking forward for me to fill in that survey, and how truthful I should be. As you mentioned, if the employee is not interested in giving those answers, you would just randomly fill anything, and that would not give you a correct data. So it's very important to even let them know why this data is important and how it could be utilized to make their lives better. Next question, Vivek, to you. You have already led HR in both fintech startups and large enterprises. And there's a wonderful question which I have for you. What's been more challenging by building AI-driven HR tech stack or getting people trust and actually use it?
Hey, Vikas. Hello, Vikas. And hello, my fellow panelists. Wonderful to be here. Because that's an interesting question, right? And everybody is moving towards AI. And what you've given me a kind of a catch-22 situation. What's more important, a tech or difficult task, which is tech stack for AI-driven talent decisions or earning trust? Well, I believe both aspects have their own unique challenges. But in my experience, earning trust has proven to be a more difficult task, actually speaking. Building a tech stack, all of us know, right? We've done for years. While it is complex, it is primarily a logistical and a technology challenge that can be addressed with proper resources and proper expertise. However, earning trust is something that involves changing mindsets and overcoming certain skepticism. People are naturally cautious about adopting AI in talent decisions due to concerns over fairness, bias, and accountability. We all know, right? We have been interviewing, we have been appraising, we've been talking to people. So there are concerns about certain amount about fairness and bias and accountability. Now, for to overcome this, it is essential to engage stakeholders early on, demonstrate how the technology works, the models that the company has implemented, and provide the evidences of its benefits. Now, in my opinion, that builds the trust, transparency in the processes, and fostering the open discussions around these model limitations have been critical, I believe, in creating a culture of trust around AI tools in human resources. That's how I would leave it. My view again is just reinforcing building trust is a little more challenging as compared to building a tech stack in for AI driven talent decisions. I hope that answers your question, Vikas. And
Truly
I hope
agree with you,
that
Vivek. I truly agree. I recently came across a scenario where I had a meeting and I was asked that Vikas, so it's normally about adapting AI, as you mentioned in talent acquisition. How many lateral hirings or candidates are open to have interviews with AI? So now, as you're all aware, AI interviews getting popular. And with this, even companies want to enhance the experience of the candidate. They want to show that how employee experience could be better, even while the interviews are going on, hirings are going on. So the main challenge that this company had was they wanted to limit the number of interviews they were having, but even parallelly have an interview done without the candidate knowing it. So they were planning to have AI in place, which can take that screening initially. And I was just discussing the same scenario, and then I was asked about how many people are open to get the interview done through any AI platform. And that's what trust is all about, Vivek. As you mentioned, that it's very important to have a lot of people think that why should I give interview to a HR, to a AI platform? I don't have that trust on the particular platform. But that is what it makes very impactful to have that trust, or maybe to show that how faster the process could be, how transparent the process will be if we use a AI platform in place where to have any bias decision or just to make interviews faster and fairer.
And Vikas, just 30 seconds to add. Vivek, you brought a fantastic point on trust, because I talked about great teams, right? Best teams in organizations. One of the three ingredients which came across as best outcome from a large research point of view globally in across different sectors of industries was trust. And in fact, trust, I think, was number two ingredient in a team. If you do not have trust, you can never build a team to the level that is required. So thank you,
absolutely,
Vivek, for bringing that up. Yeah.
absolutely. Hey, thanks, Prem.
Thank you, Prem, for your suggestions on that. There's one for Ashish. Even I would want to ask you. And Ashish, you helped everyone from shop floor teams to digital professionals grow. And with AI now speeding up learning, how do you think reskilling programs will truly motivate mid-career talent to stay relevant to their jobs?
Thanks, Vikas. So I tend to look at the overall development of individuals in actually four buckets, and I try to simplify it as much as I can. The initial one is the tools that we use, like for example, Excel or Word or PowerPoint. The second one is the skill. The skill is either analyzing data or presenting that data or creating a narrative or story. The third layer is what I would call as the mindsets, how we do what we do in our jobs, and how it makes an impact to the business, to the stakeholders. And eventually is the character part of the individual, which is the purpose and meaning that we derive, why we do what we do, and who do we believe we are while doing that work. Now, essentially, across the industries, and I think Vinayak, Prem, Moiz, everyone has spoken about it. The best part is uh, AI is actually fast tracking the speed that it provides for tools and skills. So if you remember earlier years, you would have to go into a training program and take 2 days to learn time management. or if you have to learn presentation today, you don't have to learn PowerPoint. AI can give you a slide deck in minutes. So the tools and skills part is far more simpler, or it's sort of taken care of if you have the right AI support. When it goes to the transferable skills, and I think we talked about building trust, building relationships, we talked about speed or resilience, change management, decision making, which is higher order skills or sort of become mindsets when you look at personal mastery, growth for the organizations or teams. I think that is one area where people will have to start investing more time, and that is where you require a lot more clarity, your originality in terms of how you use human knowledge, human connections, and human experience, which you can build over the AI part with the tools and skills. And just to give you a very simple example, today there is Copilot or Cursor that all software engineers can use, and you don't have to write lines of code, but you still have to validate the lines of code and ensure the quality mindset and the delivery is error free, or it's writing clean code. So your ability to sort of validate, have this mindset of quality, have this mindset of zero error delivery. I think that is what I think a human element will have to work as along with AI.
Rightly said, Ashish. Even these tools right now give us some good platform wherein the employees don't have to just stay and write whole of the code. Just they can validate the code of what exactly they're looking for it. But that's what, Ashish, the time is getting saved. So recently, I came across a company which quoted that I won't be working upon timesheets, like we won't be working upon timesheets because that's an old model where we used to charge on the number of hours. Now we'll be charging just upon the work which is to be done because with the use of AI, a lot of things could be processed faster, and we don't want our clients to be charged higher. We want to get it more on a proper manner. So that is where things are getting changed. Even recall one thing, Ashish, over here. Even Mahindra introduced some AI nuggets for the daily workflows, for the blue collar workers, just to be aware that how or what upskilling suggestions they could get and not just stay out of their current job. So this is something which is very important to have in our current industry and current time.
Absolutely. I think the focus and the emphasis, I believe, has moved away from doing and executing. That's sort of a bread and butter, executing flawlessly. But how do you think ahead, um, believing that the future is better based on what you already have in AI? I think that is going to be the challenge for professionals, not only mid career, but even leaders who are looking at transforming either individuals, teams, or organizations.
Rightly
And
said,
that
Ashish. We have one question. Please continue. Huh?
No, I was just saying that's irrespective of the industry, whether it's a manufacturing industry or a product engineering organization, pharmaceutical, any of them. So,
That's one of the questions which will be addressing this point, wherein how leaders can have AI implemented at their end. So we have a wonderful question going coming ahead. But Moses, this comes for you that how HR professionals. So now, as we are aware, a lot of HR professionals are interested in starting their journey, and how can they use AI? But they're not sure how they can use AI on a very good potential. So could you tell us some best practices across industries with these HR professionals could use that AI?
Sure, Vivek. So, what I've noted in my professional journey so far is that we HR professionals are a very resilient bunch, and with the advancement in technology, we have always adopted it well for our own benefit as well as for the benefit of the organization. And in like for the question that you asked, if any HR professional wants to start their AI journey, there are many things that we can do. First and foremost, we first have to educate ourselves and understand what is AI. And after we are thorough about it, we can start advocating it first within our own circle, our team, and then maybe to the leadership. That is step one. We can also create some AI specific learning programs to upskill not only our own self, but also people around us. This can also be a part of the L&D strategy that you might want to create for your organization. And apart from this, you can start encourage uh, taking feedback and participation, which will improve the AI tools and processes that you may want to implement. And by this, we promote a very collaborative AI and human partnership model for effective employee experience. So I've led many AI transformation initiatives in my career as a whole, working with big and small organizations. But I would like to highlight some of the case studies that I have come across. So number one is L'Oreal. I hope we are all familiar from this brand. So they use a chatbot called Maya in order to screen their candidates. And the answer are given on an AI platform. They even schedule interviews with the help of AI. And with this, they have reduced more than 30 to 50% of their overall process time. And the candidate experience is also quite improved by doing that. The second example that I can give you is of Bank of America. Now they use AI powered simulations to train their employees. And there are also companies which are using multiverses in order to train their employee or provide AI driven apprenticeships now. And they can track learners progress all with the help of AI. The third example I would like to give of companies like SAP or Workday, and they are developing AI-powered HR assistants that will do all the paperwork. They will do all the scheduling, the analytics, all the mundane tasks, and free up us HR professionals, where we can focus on strategy or engagement or providing the right experience to our employees. So these are some of the examples that I could think of. Back to you, Vikas.
Very well said, Moiz. And with L'Oreal, I remember one thing. They started doing this reversed, was it training or reverse strategy, wherein reverse mentoring program they initiated, wherein the digital natives used to train their seniors or probably introduce seniors with AI tools, how to use it in real time. What so we are aware that it becomes very difficult for very senior guys to use AI. And as I was mentioning about the 10-year-old guy who used to use this AI very well, so this creates a lot of impact. Wherein the people who are not aware of AI, how we can use AI, what places we can use AI. As we were discussing earlier, Ashish mentioned that we could easily make the PPTs now within seconds. And normally it used to take hours for us to make those PPTs. So it becomes very important that even your subordinates, your juniors, could teach you a lot of things about AI, which we are not even aware of. And we should be open for taking those feedbacks and maybe keeping or those in our regular lives, and so that we even improve our own productivity for the organizations as well.
Can't agree more with you, Vikas. I've seen that whenever there is a intergenerational collaboration in any organization or any ecosystem that we are a part of, there is always progress and we learn from each other. So I've seen that the newer generations are very courageous. They learn very quickly. They are very adaptable. They are agile, and they will not shy away to try new things. They are not
Correct.
having any apprehensions, and we can learn a lot from our next generations. So this is reverse mentoring is definitely a good initiative.
Prem, coming up on my next question, which I wanted to know about personally. So, which human traits do you think will be more essential? And how are you nurturing those traits today?
Oh yeah, it's a evolving thing. There's nothing which is fixed, I guess. What we thought 2 years back was great in terms of setting leadership skills are changing slowly. So I think the constant churn of understanding the market scenario, and I go back to global leaders, and I think we have all worked in multinational companies. So somebody who's got a global leader may not be a truly a global leader unless he, she, or all of them have really experienced different cultures. Because you can sit in one country, when you take a decision that impacts 25 countries, you got to have some basic knowledge about all those countries, value systems, culture, behavior, before you take that call. And many times that I've seen some of the leaders don't have. And I think that's a continuous evolving process, because new leaders are created, and what happens is they don't get into, they're technically very strong, or they're market oriented, or they have great product knowledge, but then when it comes to softer skills, I feel leadership needs to really gear up, and that means everybody, right up to the CEO level. So to me, I think today's world, because what's happening is everybody's focused on current today. We are worried about this quarter and next quarter, integration, jobs going away, cost, of course, the pressure of cost. We are, I think, in some way losing the long-term strategy. Some of our erstwhile leaders had that vision, 3 years, 5 years. No longer, nobody talks about 5 years today, because the company is just not there, or product mix is not there. But I think the leaders need to start looking at that, the younger leaders. Okay, so strategic view of the market, which means they need to collaborate, culture, understand, travel around a little bit to really get a feel of what that product line should be in 3 years from now, what skill sets the organization need to have, and should not be forced by an AI or something else coming from outside. Then you reactively look at things very differently. So that's one. Second, I think is, I have many actually, because I'm working on some of those aspects as we talk now, because there is culture, there is communication, timely communication, etc. But keeping that aside, I think empathy is very important in today's world, especially in a hybrid environment. We are still 50-50 maybe. Some are working remote, some are having a office/home office. So how does a leader sitting in Singapore manage 20 countries in the region? Or somebody sitting in the US has 35 countries that he or she needs to manage? I think those are going to be a very big challenge for leaders when they get promoted to those levels. I think as an organization, you got to bring in those skills to make them successful. Because that's what the expectation of the team is, that as much as somebody sitting in the same location as a leader, I need the same impact, feedback, value, coaching, counseling, and everything. Just don't tell me, you're sitting in India, sorry, 12 hours apart, let's catch up once in a week. So those attitudinal changes for leadership needs to come about. Third and most important, with AI's piece coming in, now the algorithm works in a very, very interesting way, right? It picks up what data is there. Humans have created this. Humans have input all these things into the system. Now, algorithm is pulling all the inputs from what we have fed it. And if the data is not 100% correct and accurate and ethical, you're going to get a piece of that as an outcome. So I would like leaders to start looking at ethical value of running AI, through AI, because I think it was Vivek or Ashish, I think you talked about you get the outcome from AI, but it's up to people to evaluate that and then ensure, because end of the day, people are responsible for the outcome and the decisions that you make. Don't leave the blame on a machine when you're not required. So I think ethical, moral judgment of understanding the outcome of all these that we talked about and executing it to the right way in the timely manner, I think it's a fantastic quality our leaders need to get to. I don't think they have it today, all of them, but it's an opportunity for all of us in HR, other functions, to ensure not just for them, but for ourselves too. And so that the company actually benefits out of it.
Truly said, Prem. And even I remember, I read somewhere even in SAP, they normally have these leadership programs, the coaching based AI mixed with humans, so that human spark isn't missing. So nowadays we see a lot of coaching going on just on AI. But this is what they changed, is to have some human spark as well with AI, so that senior leaders don't feel like I'm just going through a regular program, or just AI is just telling me something which is the best. So this mix and match is very, very important in these scenarios as well.
And if I just were to add another one point that came to my mind, I think everybody is looking at skilling and reskilling now, upskilling. These are the words I'm hearing. Now, how does a leader in the group or CEO to the next levels know what to reskill, how to reskill, when to reskill for their teams, not just themselves, right? So that's another quality I think leaders today don't necessarily have. They all say, okay, you need to use the tools, go and pick up something here, go sign up for a program. But do you have a structured way of understanding the gap analysis today? Putting in a development plan? AI actually can help us with that too, right? For each one in the role that we have, because you can describe a JD. But I think that's another quality leaders need to drive today for the success of our teams going forward.
Truly said, Prem, truly. Vivek, coming to your question. So this question is a little bit very near to my heart. So I wanted to let us know that have you ever disagreed with any AI hiring or promotion which was recommended through, and have you ever overjudged, over comment on this particular recommendation, human judgment
Well,
and AI?
yeah, it is an important question, and this is kind of a dilemma, right? And I would correlate, may not be a direct relevant example, but then those who are cricket fans, right? You have a third umpire looking into some data, and there is a sneakometer, and still there is a judgmental call that is taken, right? So that umpire's call. Those are the kind of things that we see. I would correlate it to something like that. AI. We many a times I will disagreed with the recommendations, whether it is CV screening or whether it is interview, first level interview in my previous company that we had implemented. Right now, what I believe algorithm process was amount of data to provide insight. Right, they might not be always account of nuanced human qualities, team dynamics, but what I sincerely believe, human judgment should always override the machine logic in this situation where there is a context, there is a emotion, there is unique circumstances that the AI tool may or may not necessarily have that kind of a aspect to be covered. Right, evaluating candidate for a cultural fit, god forbid, like I don't know how an AI will do a cultural fit when you are interviewing a candidate for a senior role in your organization, or for that matter any role, so to say. Right, or understanding prospective candidates career aspirations. Right, AI will give you, oh, within 5 years this person could be this, but then that emotion that comes out from a prospective candidate or from that employee in terms of career aspirations, his or her emotions around it, or his or her perspective, these are, I believe, these are beyond any of the algorithm suggestions. Right, what I believe, we have to strike a balance. We can leverage AI for efficiency and data-driven decision making. However, the final decisions, especially in an HR kind of a stuff, wherein we always talk about human relations, human emotions, human resources, human capital, whatever you call it as. Ultimately, the common word is human here, right? So when we are getting into our final decisions, I think we should incorporate a human touch that reflects our organization's values and our organization's culture. So net, I would always say human judgment should override machine logic in a situation where there is a decision that needs to be taken in terms of culture fit, aspirations, team related stuff, human qualities. I would still go ahead with an individual assessment there. I hope that answers your question, Vikas.
Thank
I
you,
would like
Vivek.
to add something to what Vivek said. I would like to piggyback his thought and say that we humans are always would have some or other unconscious biases, and sometimes it goes into the tool or application during the programming time also, and the results may be skewed because of this reason. And hence I would rather use a tool to maybe give me data points and let me make the final decision. Back to you, Vikas.
Thank you, Moiz, for adding your thoughts with Vivek. And even I was just talking about this earlier with talent acquisition in AI. It's a very interesting topic right now. And even I read it that even at Google, recruiters a lot of time reject the profiles just based on the nuance they get. That they don't getting that particular vibe with that candidate, which AI is saying that the candidate is even good. So right now, AI has to be very smart to even find if the candidates are lip syncing. There are a lot of ways human are already smart. So if there are multiple faces in the interview, so these things are very much important. Wherein as a human, we can judge those things better right now, better than AI. And so that is why it's very crucial to have a human involvement either at any of the stages, so that we could get the best outcome with using AI. For AI, we can use AI to shortlist profiles probably, but not make the decision that this is the best profiles. But out of those hundreds, these five are good. And now, as a human, it's my role to judge what is the best, which is the best profile out of those five.
See, I believe AI will give you a fantastic dashboard, right? What to read out of that dashboard is something should be left to the individual, I would say. You can have 100 different types of dashboards. You have 1,000 kind of data. You can have an analysis, paralysis by analysis, or whatever you call it as, right? But it is essentially the one who's using that dashboard would have a final call, in my view, and that's where we would leave it.
Correct. Truly said Vivek. Ashish, before your question, I guess we have some questions with the audience. So can we have that audience questions, please? Yeah. How can we ensure that human creativity and emotional intelligence remains central to the value proposition of the workforce, even as AI advances from Hemant? So anyone would like to take that?
Okay, so I am a design thinking practitioner, and having said that, I believe that there are a lot of things that humans can do which will never be taken over of by AI. One of which is emotional intelligence, or I would say social intelligence and creativity. So we don't have to worry about that because these areas will always remain human, and these are some of the skills of the future, which no AI or no algorithm or no tool can take over. So I don't think we should be bothered about it.
That's good to know, Moiz.
Just
I
adding,
guess, yeah. Yes,
just
please go
adding,
ahead, Ashish.
and I think following up on the conversation we were having previously, see the gut and the instinct, how much ever we don't bring it to a conversation in a logical discussion, the gut and instinct is eventually what gets us to build connections, build trust, make decisions, make those changes, and eventually either be successful or course uh, our careers, our lives. So again, human creativity and talk about emotional intelligence. Similarly, I think some of these skills or these mindsets, I think these only come from having our own original background, which we cannot feed into an AI to neither as an individual or a team as an org. And hence, like Moiz already said, they're never going to be redundant. Of course, you can use all data from, like when Vivek mentioned, we could always use data and then build on top of that with our own intelligence.
Thank you, Ashish, for your thoughts. Thank you, Moiz. I guess there are a couple of more questions from the audience. What's one task you personally never want AI to take over from you and why? That's a wonderful question. Prem, can you take it and let us know on that?
What AI
So,
will not. Uh, I mean, obviously, my job was right. That'll be a tough one. But actually, it's just the. But this is a very, very. I've thought through this many times. Currently, I think that we talked about the rational, the human judgment, ability to comprehend the ethical, legal, and the fairness part of things. Is today AI is not there, and I think Vivek, you also touched upon what I heard last was about the can they judge culturally and the fitment wise, etc. But I'm not sure the way things are going, because in, let's say, in 5 years time or 10 years time, that could also be true because of the experiences that we are generating. See, everything is about experience. Today we have 50,000 inputs into the system for churning out output. Tomorrow you're going to have 500,000. Then you're going to have 50,000, 5 million, 50 million. So the chances of errors are going to come down and down and down over. It'll taper down. So I think over a period of time, all these things are possible. But there will be other interventions like AI will come in. So rather than what it can take away from you, as a human being, let's be ahead of the machine. Be smarter, predict the uncertainty that is ahead, work through the uncertainty and the black box that you always talk about, and be prepared and have options in mind. Do not just think about one. I mean, 10 years back, yeah, I want to grow here, level this level, and then this industry, and that's it. Today, just keep it open. Be prepared to move across. look at different options, look at
Vivek, do you
I
mind
think I think
answering
I
from
think
your
we
end?
lost. I think we lost Prem.
Yeah. So can you help us with your answer, Vivek? What would you want not AI to take away from you?
I would still say that however we automate, however we have a kind of a best-in-class AI tools, I would always say that they should be acted or used as a support for for a decision making. What I would not like to give away from my role perspective is the whole decision making ability. Right, AI can conduct interviews for you, fair enough, but then ultimately the decision should be left to the interviewer. AI can have a career aspiration discussions, as Prem was alluring a little while ago. You have 50,000 data sets, you have 5 million data sets, and probably at some point of time, AI may get into a kind of a situation where it can advise on a career aspiration of an employee. But ultimately, how to use that particular input and that executive decision or a managerial decision, I would not like the decision making power to really go away from I as a human to an AI as a machine, basically. That is something. Now, I will give you a small example. Like some of us who have gray hair would remember when calculators were invented, right? It was considered that calculators would take away jobs, right? Because you could do all sort of mathematical with a normal calculator or a scientific calculator. You can do all sort of mathematical calculations on a touch of a button. But what human evolved after that was they got better in using calculators to their advantage and really become a further intelligent human beings, so to say. Right? They ensure that calculators are used to their advantage and their intelligence surpasses the calculator intelligence, I would say. Similar thing happened with Excel, and some of us are, very good in Excel, and Excel has an AI capability now through Copilot. But then it is us to determine how do you use that Excel, their capabilities, and make a best out of it. That is the decision making that I'm alluding to. Is something that I would not like to go away from. I said after AI is implemented.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you for the response. Moiz, Ashish, anything you don't want to get away from you?
Maybe one aspect is interaction with our employees. That I think I would like to retain with myself in order to get the right inputs, right kind of information, first-hand information, rather than coming to it in a form of data points, which might not be 100% accurate. Because what I've seen is we respond to certain questions in a different way, and it is very humane of us to read between the lines, which I don't think I would get it in a spreadsheet uh, or maybe in a form of a table. I would not be able to read that between the lines. So the element of human interaction is something that I would want to retain and not let AI take it over.
So I can
Good
add
to know
a
Moiz on that.
yeah, I can add a probably a more personal touch to it. So I have a 7-year-old daughter who loves doing the Rubik's cube and me reading stories to her. That's something we both like doing together. And that power of conversation and connection is something I would never want AI to take away. Because there was a day when I was busy and then she took a photo of the Rubik's cube where she was stuck and she put it up on ChatGPT or Gemini and asked for an answer and she solved it. So next time she might not come back to me. So I think to add to what Moiz has already said, I think that connection, that conversation is very important because human evolution and AI evolution is still going to depend on those conversations and connections.
Truly said Ashish, and we all could relate to these things, how even small child are able to solve Rubik cubes with use of AI. Ashish, I've got one more question for you, which is pending. You've seen a lot of AI tools shape culture, but sometimes they miss the mark. So, what worked for you to ensure that tools support inclusion rather than deepening existing gaps?
So slightly loaded question, but when I look at tools and assessments, I look at it at three different levels again. One is at an individual level, what are you looking from an assessment perspective? Two is what are you looking at the team's perspective and the org perspective. And I believe today's leadership is a lot more about paradoxical thinking because earlier it was either this or that. Today it's about this and that. And how do you manage in those kind of environments? So a tool that probably can give you great insights about personal mastery and subject matter expertise can actually encourage individualism over collective intelligence, or a tool that is sort of working in terms of getting you to know more and more information can actually create misalignment and silos in teams and organizations because somebody's actually, if you can use that word, an intellectual jerk, and the whole team is not able to sort of work around that. And that's where I think Vivek was alluding to his culture fitment and things in the interview. So the assessment tools again have to evolve into one. What is it that you want from the tool? What is it? Is it for the individual? Is it for the team? Is it for the orgs? And most importantly, what do you want to evaluate? Validating that and building that with your knowledge based on the company. So again, the old school assessments uh, has been something that has been validated and researched over the years. And today there are, if you see, there are dime a dozen AI coaching tools that are coming in. Now, coaching as an industry has evolved with a lot of practices and principles. The AI coaching assessment or tools that we have are also evolving. So, how do you sort of use these again? To my previous answer, the skills and the tools part is the simpler ones, but the right mindset and the right character development that human connection, human knowledge can bring in. I think that is what we have to validate, and we have been trying to use whenever we sort of zero in on an AI tool or assessment.
Well, was Ashish, and the culture is very, very important. And probably right now, AI is not much capable of judging what kind of culture we are looking for our employees and our organization. And a lot of companies even prefer or have human touch over here about what kind of employees they look for, what culture they want to bring in. Even for sometimes for us, it's very, very important that the person should be more a cultural fit rather than technical or whatever work he is doing, but is he a culture fit? If that candidate is not culture fit, would be very difficult for him to stay in the organization.
Absolutely.
I guess there's one more question with the audience, and then we'll wrap it up quickly. Do you think AI will ever understand workplace vibes, like knowing when a team's just not clicking, or it's that always a human instinct? Prem, would you like to take that answer? Earlier, we missed you saying that.
Yeah, sorry, just had a big fluctuation. So dropped out. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a good continuation of what I was saying, right? So you never know, these things could happen because even what we are going through, experiencing right now, 20 years back, we would have never, even imagined um, driverless car, for example. I was first surprised when I went to San Francisco, see this car moving around, nobody inside. I mean, it's amazing, right? So it's everything is possible, right? That's what my belief is now slowly turning out to be. You have robots serving coffee, tea in cafes. Uh, Maybe you don't need help in some places. Things will come, and with time, I think these are progressing very fast. But to me, more than that will be the expectations of the individuals as human beings. Forget about what the organization wants to do. If you are an employee working anywhere or doing something, what is your expectation? Are you okay to have a machine come and talk to you and take care of me? Like if I have a problem at home, what will the machine do for me? Right? It can probably give you some suggestions like talk to X, talk to Y, go to this place, etc. But I think to me, eventually the human element will not go away because that sensibility, ability to comprehend and consolidate and act upon on a situation which is very sensitive to life. I think it'll take a very long time for AI and other related things to really come through. But 50% of what we have gone through in the past might be in 10 years' time could be replaced very well. But human touch, in my view, at least for all of us in this call here, we are hoping till we are around in this world will continue. Otherwise, we are obsolete already, right? Nobody needs us.
Correct.
Yeah, so I would imagine it will stay on for a longer period of time. So that's my take here.
Vivek, you are mute if you are saying something.
Oh, is that so? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying, maybe we would be called AI relations than to be an human relations or something.
So
Right.
there's one thing which I have from my heart, wherein, as we all are aware about yesterday's incident, what happened at Ahmedabad. So probably, as Vivek was mentioning earlier, if we could get a lot of data points, then we could get to know what could went wrong, what could go wrong to any of the things, and we could predict something. So this is what I believe AI will be very, very helpful for us in coming future, where if you could predict that probably this flight or plane might need some maintenance, or even with the trains. So that is one thing which could be very, very impactful going forward.
And because you're absolutely hit it on the head here, there is a company called 𝗪𝗫𝗫. If you haven't heard about it, it's a company that actually it's AI supported product outcome, where they can predict. It's on the fleet on the roads, not yet on the air yet, but it is able to predict the number of accidents it can save, and it can reduce and save number of lives. So I would urge you to just go and check on this company called 𝗪𝗫𝗫. They are like 6 or 7 years in the industry right now. For example, they are one of the customers in the US is the fleet of school buses. So it has got cameras sensing things and software. It can predict within a certain kilometer radius. And also, if the driver, I believe, on a highway is feeling low, needs a coffee break or something, this will integrate that, because you are driving. Otherwise, you continue to drive with what you are, right? So it's able to sense so many things that human beings were not able to gauge, and hence reduce number of accidents, deaths on the road. So there are things like this. So I think whatever you said, because it is soon going to come for other things like in the seaway, airways, all these things are going to come. And one last thing from me is, I believe the great part of this AI evolution is security. It can definitely understand, track, and respond to threats much faster than human beings, is what at a large scale. So if you ask me what is going to really make a big difference and reduce some of these errors, is going to be the ability to handle, understand, and record what is coming our way, which humans are still far away from it. So I think that's going to be tracking something very soon for us.
Rightly same, Fred. Thank you, Prem, for the wonderful response on this. And I guess Rohit is with us. So Rohit, over to you.
Okay. Lendis. Another powerful edition of Shared Future today. With every session, we dive deeper into evolving relationships between people and AI. And today was no exception. If there's one truth that continues to emerge across every edition, it's that future isn't about humans versus AI. It's about how we build, adapt, and thrive together. A heartfelt thank you to all our brilliant panelists, Moiz, Prem, Vivek, and Ashish, and to our moderator as well, Vikas, for guiding such a thoughtful and layered discussion. Thank you all for being a part of Shared Future 5.0.
Thank you. All
Hey,
the
bye
best.
everyone. Bye. See you.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you, everyone. Bye.